Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week, I have Estelle from the awesome band out of the Northeast, where we are located. And the band is Arms Like Roses. If you know anything about the music we love, you're going to truly enjoy the music we're going to share with you today and the conversation we're going to have. So first and foremost, Estelle, welcome to the show.
Hi. It's nice to talk with you today. I appreciate
Well,
you
we
having me
appreciate
on.
you being here. I appreciate the back and forth we've had prior to hitting record on this, and finally getting together. But I'm excited to have you here today because I'm excited to talk about all things Arms Like Roses and all things what your life has been to the point where you are now. So I'm very excited because the simple fact that when I heard your music, the big thing for me is I need something to pique my interest, something that stops me in my tracks to say, oh my God, what the fuck was that? And for me to go back and listen to it and to continue to listen to it and then start sharing it with people. And that's what I've done. And that's what I continue to do. So, like, to finally get you here for someone that I've been screaming at the top of my lungs in my record store, like, listen to this. This is some crazy shit. And I don't know how to categorize it. So, like, the first thing I want to kind of ask you is, like, how would you kind of categorize, and in the day we live in with playlists and genres, like, where would you kind of call yourself, or what type of band, or where would you genre label yourself as what you guys do?
We are kind of all over the place, but
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
simple. Yeah.
I feel like we kind of fit into like emo, post-hardcore, maybe like a little bit of shoegaze, kind of just like a mixture of all of those things, I would say. And there are like some other things sprinkled in there, but
What are those sprinkles? What are those little rainbow sprinkles you're throwing on top of there then?
oh my goodness, I don't even know. Like, I mean, there's like, I don't know, because I feel like I have a lot of like punk influence and that, and just there's a lot of different things because we all kind of like bring our own, I don't know, we add our own little flair to things. And I feel like other people have like sometimes they'll have a hard time categorizing us in a way, like, because I don't know, I'll just say to people like, yeah, we're an emo band just to make it like easy, but
Yeah, but sometimes the E word could be a bad word and people, like, are
yeah,
off put by it, where, that's why I've always, like, when someone's like, oh, what does it sound like? And I just say post hardcore because that sounds cooler, even though it means fucking emo. It's the same fucking
yeah.
thing, but people are off put by the E word. And it's just like, just stop, man. It's great music, and because you do have, like, you started telling, when you start genre labeling yourself, like, it's all right there, but you have these beautiful emotional songs that I wouldn't even categorize as emo. It's just like, it is a beautiful song that, if in the layers of it, if you sit back and listen to it, it doesn't fall into any kind of genre or category. It's just a great fucking song, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
I really appreciate you saying that because I feel like whenever I'm writing something or if we're writing something together, because I feel like our process is like different depending on the song and whatnot. But I feel like when I'm writing something, I just want to make it as like emotional as possible and like but have it like tell like a story and like you just like feel it like uh, I guess another genre that I really like a lot too that has like inspired that specifically is probably more like post rock and stuff like that where it's just like these big crescendos going into like some intense part or something and then like it comes back down or just like just really music that you have to like it's not like too you don't have to be like too much of a music snob to get it but it's like I don't know it makes you feel something.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, what music is about, right? And that's what we all connect to, is what makes us feel something, and maybe make us feel something different, or maybe feel the same thing that we didn't think a different type of music could make us feel. And that's
Yeah.
the moments where, like, you get the goosebumps, or you get the, oh my, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know why I feel the way I feel, but it's making me feel something that I'm not comfortable with. but you want to go back to it because you're like, I don't know why I just felt that. And it just continues to bring those, I have tons of songs in my life that anytime I hear that first note, like goosebumps just all over the body. And there's nothing you can do about it, and you can't control it. You can't suppress that feeling because that's what the music does to you. And I think that's where like the emo cliche, I want to say, is where people started to get, oh, well, it's emotional feeling. I'm like, well, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like, yeah, I'll give a connotation of emo to a song that really evokes emotion in me. And I'll be like,
Mhm.
dude, that's an emo song. Even if it's like a fucking metalcore song, like, dude,
Yeah,
that's a fucking emo
sure.
song because it just made me feel these emotions that I didn't even know I was ready to feel. Like, that's where that comes from. And I think it was just too widespread at one moment, especially with that E word that fucking went around. And good songs are good songs, no matter who does it or what does it. If it connects with you, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. And like you you even saying that like, oh, some people don't like the E word and whatnot. Like I um even I feel like well actually no. This happened to me a few days ago at my job. um and like I work with kids, and one of the kids was like, "Are you emo?" And I laughed because I know that like now, or I don't know, I know that like it's not like a meant in a positive way.
Yeah.
And it was like a joke, but it was just kind of funny to hear it coming from like a young kid, you know. So
It was probably because like a husband was yelling at a wife that he didn't want to listen to her, like My Chem songs anymore because they're coming back for a stadium tour. And like, I can't stand that emo shit that's going on in the house. And the kid hears that and is like, oh, emo. Like, but at this, it's one of those, because I don't know, because I'm an old man now, but I don't know what fucking wave we're in, because people are like, oh, we're in the new wave of emo. I'm like, I don't know what
oh,
the
I know,
fuck you're talking.
right?
They're like, oh, we're in like the sixth wave. I'm like, listen, I remember hearing Diary and fucking Dear You by Jawbreaker when I was in
Yep.
high school. So like,
Yep.
I don't know what that means because I've been here from the beginning, but all I know is that good music's good music. And if you want to categorize something, like I've heard like the most horrible fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Like this horrible metal, and someone's like, dude, do you hear this new emo band? I'm like, you are way off base. So I don't think there's a definition really for it. It's just I think it's a connotation that people just start throwing at things to be like, I don't like this. It's emo. Like, and it's so
Exactly.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the I don't know, all the like memes and things like yeah, it's just like in the well, tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. Like that whole
Yeah.
like just making it into a joke, or like, you know, it yeah, I feel like it's kind of like what it originally was kind of is like lost now.
Totally lost. It's totally
So,
gone. It really is. And it's a shame because like, you know, especially with that sound, like there's so much amazing music that unfortunately, like you have to click the emo tab on fucking Bandcamp to find it. And I'm like, this isn't emo. It's just great fucking awesome
yeah.
music someone's creating. And it's like, I hate the fact that they threw it under there because I know a lot of people aren't going to click on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I I agree, and it like it bums me out because there are like tons of like cool bands, or just bands that like I don't know, like because I feel like local bands. I don't know. There's so many local bands that like I think are cool, but like I'm it it probably like people won't even like hear about them because they don't even. I don't know.
But but you also play off what you were influenced by, right?
Yes.
And a big thing now too is like people get labeled certain things because of like who's producing it. Like, and if they
Yeah.
were in an emo band, but now they're a producer and on a record label and in a studio. It's like, well, that's emo. Well, no, it's not. He's just they, you know, he, him, her, she, him, they, like, they're finding the music that they want to produce and help make it better. And but it's just because they at one point were an emo band. No, well, that's an emo band.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it's like, yeah, because even you saying that kind of makes me think of how, like, we had for Arms Like Roses, like for our full length that we put out in like 2022. I think it was 2022.
It was 2022. Yeah.
Whew. Wow. I mean, we're working on new music. Don't worry. But like Chris Teti from The World Is, he recorded that, and you could tell that, like, there was, like, we had him in mind because some of us are like friends with him beforehand, but it was like, I don't know, that like is a band that was like influential to like a good amount of people like my age, maybe like a little bit younger or older, but they, like, I don't know, they could be put into the emo sphere, I guess. Like I guess, yeah, I don't know, but you could hear Chris's, like, his, I don't know, his little influence on the music and like the way that it was mastered and everything. I love it, but it also, like, part of me is like, do we actually sound like this? Like, I don't know. But I don't know, maybe I was just like surprised that it came out really well, but I don't know. I could also, I'm sorry, I'm like also rambling, but
No, and you kind of like, and that's the thing too when it comes to that kind of stuff, is like working with someone that you respect and has those own influences is one of those things where, like, sometimes things will turn out maybe better than you thought they would, or different than you thought they would, or worse than you thought, but it still has those influence of the person producing it, the people creating it, and it doesn't matter where it falls in. My big thing is, the way I look at it is, as long as someone finds it and attaches themselves to it, it was a success. Like, there's, especially in today's day and age, there's no way to quantify, you know, there's only a certain amount of space for Taylor Swift, Noah Khan, Foo Fighters, you know, like there's only a certain amount of space for those people, Chappell Roan, like so everything else, like it's quantifying success. And as long as you made something great, and the way I look at it, and it's is not to try to pat myself on the back, but I found it and I love it. So you got somebody who's like willing to be like, that's fucking awesome. I love hearing that. And why isn't there more shit like this out there in the world for people to hear, instead of the stuff that has that small space for the big artists that people constantly look for? Like, this is just as good, if not better. And it doesn't matter who was a part of it or who created, like, just more people need to hear it. And those are the kind of things where it kind of doesn't have to fall under a genre, but especially in today's day and Spotify age, you have to fucking fall in a playlist. And that's why I asked that genre question of like, where do you find yourself as a genre? Because you have to fall under a fucking stupid playlist somewhere.
Yeah, like, I even remember when we first started the band, and we wrote like a few songs, like some of them went on to our first EP that we put out. And I feel like all of them were very different songs. And the one song that we really felt, or actually, I guess technically there were like two songs that we really felt kind of fit what we were trying to go for, or like what we were like at that point, like moving towards, were, oh my God, it was 12 a.m. and then, Oh my God. Hold on one second. Let me actually look at that EP really quick on my phone. Yeah, it was just like 12 a.m. and sleepover. Um, and because like we all liked the rest of the songs, but I don't know that those two songs. Sleepover was more like pop punk kind of. And that was actually like the first song that we ever wrote. We wrote it like, I want to say it was like the first or second time we ever met up to practice. And it was just like, we wrote it that day, like together, like on the spot, which is not really a thing that I usually do, but I don't know. It just like kind of went into like, we kind of moved into that like a little bit of the emo post-hardcore kind of genre. And I know for the record that we're like currently writing songs for, which not exactly sure when that's gonna be done or anything, because we're still writing and I plan to like write for like a little bit, but I know we wanted to re-record 12 a.m. because that's like one of our favorite songs that we wrote. And we just felt like the recording from the EP didn't really do it justice, because like we had to record like during the pandemic, and then like we had to stop because it was the pandemic had just started and we had to stop, and then we got back into it, and then we just like rushed everything. But yeah, I don't even know what my main point was, other than the fact that I feel like that's kind of what moved us into like what we're currently doing now, even though we're still like not just I mean, I know I'm not trying to just like pigeonhole myself, but like, because I love like all sorts of genres of music, and I love being like eclectic and like, I don't know, all sorts of like things that I grew up with, like especially with my dad, like being really into music and stuff. But
So what
yeah,
was that? What was that like? Like how, like growing up with music, and like what was those first influences kind of that that piqued your interest when it came to musical stylings, or hearing that first thing? For me, it was the Beach Boys at 6 years old. Heard that, my life changed forever. So like
that's awesome.
when you're a young kid and music's being played around, like what was being played around that you kind of sort of started attaching yourself to?
So my dad, he was like really into a lot of oldies. My dad is like older. So like most of my friends even like thought he was like my grandfather when I was a kid.
Mm,
Yeah, literally gray hair since I was
mm.
like a kid. But so he was just listening to like the Beatles, yeah, the Beach Boys, the Zombies, like uh he also he would listen to like a lot of jazz. So there was like jazz that we'd listen to. Um, oh my God, there's so many things. Like my dad like made me really like appreciate like all sorts of music. Like sometimes he'd listen to classical music. There'd be like a bunch of different stuff, like even music from like different countries, because my dad is from Italy. But yeah, like I don't know, I like caught on to like, yeah, like as a kid, like the Beatles, and yeah, sure, like the Beach Boys, like who else? Oh my God. There, like I know that the like not a band that my dad necessarily got me into, but one of the first bands that I saw like on MTV or whatever, VH1, like when I was a kid in the 90s and stuff, that I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like what I would like to do. This was I love the band No Doubt. Like
Mhm.
even though obviously like I that we're not a ska band or anything like that, but
Thank God.
I thought, but I don't know, like I really caught like listening to, I don't know, Gwen Stefani at the time, like sing about like these, like, I don't know, her heartaches and breakups and all sorts of things going on in her life, but also being like this badass on stage and like running around and like, I don't know, she does like all this craziness on stage and stuff and like is super
Well,
cool.
because she had to sing about heartbreak and all that kind of stuff. Well, the heartbreak was her bass player still in the band, so she had to be a badass to be like, look at all these other people who want to be with me. Screw you.
Right? Like it's, I don't even know if I could do that. That's like, whew. But, but yeah, I don't know. Like it also, like, I feel like they, as a band, not even just her specifically, but as a band, almost all of their albums are very different from one another. And they just like, I don't know, like whatever genre it was, or like, you know, even though they would still have, you know, their roots and everything, but whatever they were going for like the next album, it still like worked. And I think that that's like really cool. Like that they're not like, oh yeah, we're going to stay like doing the same thing forever. Like, cause you obviously have to grow and like evolve. Like the one thing I don't like though is like when bands will like change because this specific genre is like popular. So they want to do that. I think,
for the sake of change. That, and there are bands that have done that. But also you got to look at band like you bring up, No Doubt. Like, yes, they a lot of the albums became different, but it's also the reason why they didn't stay together, because people kind of started to be like, well, it's not like this album that I fell in love with,
yeah,
you know. And there's not many bands that I can honestly say, like the band that I always go to all the time when it comes to like different sounding albums, every album is like Radiohead. And
yes,
like every single album is
love Radiohead.
completely, 100% different. Every album's on, I go, there's one Radiohead. Give me another band that every single album was 100% different, that kept doing it and made it.
Oh
And you can't,
yeah,
it's really hard to, like, so it gets to that point where like, yes, you're allowed to mature and you're allowed to get your own new taste, but, and some, like you said, some bands will try to create something that is popular at the time, but some bands that are maturing and they're all maturing together and maturing different times and doing different things, they start creating these albums that the people who fell in love with, you know, Don't Sleep, right, with No Doubt, is like the next album comes out, yeah, I don't like this because it's different.
yeah.
Because you didn't mature at the same time. So it's so tough. It really is so tough being a part of something, especially something that big, and trying to be yourselves and being able to grow. It's really hard to do.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Like, even me with like appreciating No Doubt as a band, like I think that, like, for instance, Gwen Stefani and her new music that she has currently, like that's not really something that I listen to. Like, but I still appreciate, like, I don't know, like maybe it's just like nostalgia. Like, oh yeah, I remember seeing Gwen Stefani on MTV with like pink hair in Simple Kind of Life music video. And that was like part of the reason why I have pink in my hair, because I just was like, I don't know, that's so badass. That's so cool or whatever. But whatever, I don't know. Anyways, I'm like, I feel like I'm like losing my train of thought. But you can just let me know if I am rambling at all.
No,
But
there's no rambles. This is all about you. So it's, you know, we're finding out about you. So if we find out you like to ramble, we're good. We still found that out about you, right? That's all good. But you did, like, growing up with your dad, listening to a ton of different things, and you starting to find yourself and finding No Doubt. I mean, was there, like, do you kind of remember that moment where
other than No Doubt, where you kind of found where you thought you belonged listening to music, and like you thought you belonged to being able to share it and be in a scene or whatnot, like at a young age, and start wanting to be with other people that were interested in what you were listening to?
That was definitely in high school. Like, I even remember one of my friends, like the first YouTube video that I ever watched. It was like 2005. Like, I had just gotten into high school, and my friend showed me like The Taste of Ink by The Used, and I was like, okay, I can get into this. And then I feel like from then on, like, I don't know, I was always at shows. I went to tons and tons of shows in Boston and Lowell and stuff, like, like all over like Massachusetts. I was like going to shows all the time. Like, I don't even know how, like as a high schooler, how I could have done that, but I felt like I liked, I don't know. I mean, and going to like Warped Tour and things like that. But I also feel like like, I really was into, like, I don't know. I feel like when I was in high school, it was more kind of like the bands that would be, yeah, like Warped Tour bands or whatever, stuff like that. Kind of like emo, screamo, hardcore, like things like that. And then as I got a little bit older, maybe like right out of high school or something, I started getting into like a lot of old school punk, like starting from the 70s, like until now. And I think that stuck with me a lot too. And I felt like the punk scene was really cool. Like, I don't know, like the X-Ray Specs, like even just like, stuff like everybody would listen to, like the Ramones or the Misfits or things like that. Like, I wanted to go from the beginning and kind of understand like where that came from. And then I don't know, I just felt like the little scene that we had when I was in my like early 20s and so on, like that was more like just like, straight up like punk music, like whatever, like kind of just getting angry about something that's like important or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Being angry at something you didn't know you were supposed to be angry at. That's
yeah.
what punk always, I grew up in the 80s, and like punk has always been the same. And for me, it's a huge part of my life, and it hasn't changed. And I love the fact that you went back to the origins of like, the punk scene. And for me, I talk about it all the time. Like, original punk came up and, in Nashville, guys sitting outside the back of the Grand Ole Opry trying to get their songs played and singing against what was, but like going back to those origins. And it's still the same to this day, like seeing kids come up who maybe had those origins or heard stories about it, but still making the music the same way of like, they got something to say, they don't know how to say it, and this is the best way we can say it. And I think really that's what punk always was. It was just like, and when you feel a sense of community, and punk always had that, like you felt like you belonged even though you didn't belong, or maybe you didn't
Yeah.
think you belonged, you just always belonged. And I think that's where it was so fascinating, and still to this day. And seeing young kids being in the punk rock and having seeing a 16-year-old kid in a leather jacket with pins all over it come into my record store, it's just like, it's still alive and it's always going to be there. It's just, how do you find it, and how do you associate yourself with it? And there's
Yeah.
always this message, and I've always said, like, it doesn't matter what the message is, it's what you take out of it. So
Mhm.
especially with like punk rock, it was like everybody found a different message within it, and it led them to where they were eventually supposed to be. So as many people that fought against punk rock or rally against it or say this is wrong or say, you know, different things about it, it's just it's like religion to me. Like as long as you get something out of it that leads you to the place you're supposed to be, then it all works out, and that's a great thing.
No, exactly. I completely agree. Like I don't know, like I feel like I had this like awakening when I started listening to more punk music and not necessarily listening to like what is like currently popular. Because I feel like I did that more when I was in high school, just because, like, oh, my friends are into this or that or whatever, you know? So I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this. But then because I grew up with my dad, like, listening to, like, older music, I was like, you know what? Let me just find out where things began and whatnot. And then, like, I know that even, like, Riot Girl music, like, that really stuck with me too. Like, I don't know, I love like Babes in Toyland, like I don't know, like all
L7, Lunatics, yeah, that whole
yes,
scene, yeah.
yeah, like all of that shit. Like I know sometimes people have been like, you kind of sound a little bit like Kathleen Hanna, like when you do vocals. I don't know, yeah, like it's just like little inflections and things, but I don't always hear it. But
I don't hear it. I honestly think you stand on your own 2 feet with your voice, and it is that it is what I talked about earlier, is that like you have that like where it's the softer songs sometimes that I'm just like where I just fall in love with the sound, like, and like there's the screaming and I'm like that's fucking awesome, it's so powerful, it's perfect. But then I hear, you know, songs for me that like I'm just like, oh my god, like I stop in my tracks, and it's just like Jesus Christ, like I'm listening to Flowers of Our Fathers, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's like I just heard all this crazy shit, and then I hear this and I'm like, that how is that the same fucking thing? Like, but it is, and it all makes sense to me. And that's where it's like it's always great for people to say you sound like someone else, but like for me, I'm like, there's nothing else that sounds like that. And that's, you know, like one of the reasons why I wanted to have you here, because it's like I hear that screaming in the first songs off of Blooming, and I'm just like, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden I get this thing that makes me feel something completely different than what I just heard, but I still kind of it's all the same feeling, but a different way to feel it. And I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, there it is. Like that's so awesome.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Like that's exactly what I want. Like that's exactly what I'm like going for. Like for Blooming, like the song that we spent the most time recording was Flowers for Our Fathers. Like that song, we spent like several days recording that song because like we all wanted it to sound like, I don't know, just like ethereal, like in like really make someone like feel like what, like I don't know, like
what I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, because like that song was the last song that was written for that album, and it originally wasn't originally going to be the closer. I wrote that after we wrote, like we had like our, I don't know, the whole all of the songs like together. The song Glass Thoughts that's on our newest EP was supposed to be the last song on that record. But so my dad, he passed away right before we were about to record Blooming. And like this was in 2021. And I was just like, I need to write something about this. Like I had like it just, but it all,
you needed catharsis. You needed to just like there's something going on that I need to get out.
Yeah. And it like happened so fast with me writing it Like, I remember, I don't know, I'd be at work and I'd be like hearing what I want to like add to it in, my head, and just write something down, or like, the melody, or like I don't know, write down lyrics and stuff like that. Like, for, yeah, I just remember that time, and I was about to move to a new apartment too. So it was like supposed to be super stressful, but like it was helping me deal with all of the emotions that I had. And then we got one of our friends to play violin in the song, and then like we added all these layers, like we made it like,
Anthemic.
yeah, I don't know. I just like am so happy with how that song came out. And even adding at the end of the song, it was like one of the last voicemails that my dad had like sent me one time, or I don't, yeah, like one of the last voicemails on my phone. So like one of the last times that I would have heard my dad's voice, and I just put that at the end of the song, and I felt like it was like a perfect end to it.
Yeah, it's so powerful, and those are the kind of things that I think sometimes when it comes to songwriting and structure and people putting things, I think some of the times emotions removed from it, and they're doing it. Oh, we got to create something. And this seemed like that moment where it was, this just has to be done, and it makes it to that point, and that's where I go with, because I'm an album person.
Mm-hmm.
And albums and the way albums are laid out mean the world to me. Like, I've taken some of my favorite albums and redone them as a playlist with the order that I think they should be in. And it came to the moment of Blooming where like it ends, and like I'm just like, I'm distraught, but I want to start the album over again. And those are always the moments where I'm like, that's the most impactful thing. Like, some people look for, oh, the impactful song needs to be the third song, and it needs to be 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And I'm just like, no, it just needs, like, it needs to flow. And then you need to end the album where someone is craving to start it over again,
Yeah.
because like they're so attached to it now. Like, they just ran through it, and this last song is like, fuck, what the hell was that? I need to go back because I need a different feeling, because it has a different feeling at the beginning than it does at the end. So you're like trying to always constantly go back and recreate something. And that was one of the, like, when the album ended, I was like, motherfucker, I need to start this over again. Like, and then I knew I was in, and like, that's when I know you got me. Like, you got me. And then I'm like, ha ha ha, you got me. Fuck you. Let's do this again.
Oh, I really appreciate you saying that. Like, that means a lot, because whenever I'm like working on something, I always try and be as intentional as possible with like the way that, I don't know, just the way, like, even like the layout, like all of the songs, the order, like anything, artwork, whatever it is. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like too much to the point where I drive myself crazy, but I don't know. I feel like that stuff is important. I don't
It
like,
is.
yeah,
And I think people take it for granted.
yeah.
I don't think people spend enough time on that stuff, to be
No,
perfectly honest.
I agree. Like, I don't know. They're like, I don't know. You could listen to like a Britney Spears record or something from like 2000 or whatever, and it's like the single has to be the first or second song, and then like there's like a specific, or like
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to tell a story. Like, I always am just, I don't know. Yeah.
As young kids tell me when they come in to share their new music that they created with me, they're like, oh, we created this new concept album. I go, oh, you mean an album? They're like, oh no, but it
Right?
tells a story, and like we tell this whole story throughout the entire thing, throughout like 10 tracks. And I'm like, yeah, that's called a fucking album. That's that's what it's called.
Yeah.
You're not creating something new. Like, let's go back and listen to fucking Rush albums, and like
Yeah.
it tells a story. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, instead of playing the singles game where you come out with a single every single month, and at the end of the year, you now put it all together and say, hey, our album's out now. Like, no, it tells a story. You're not picking the best things. You're telling a story throughout the entire album. And that's what people attach themselves to. I go, and that's where, like, people don't understand that, I think, and this is the old curmudgeon in me, like the people who are just putting out singles, and I'm like, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
Because if someone finds a song that they really connect with, and they're like, wow, this is a great song, and then they go to your fucking page and you only have 3 songs out, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
Like, they're never coming back. They're like, oh, well, that was a good song, and there's nothing else for me to really listen to and attach myself to. So, like, if you're creating music, and I always say Gene Simmons had the best line, you have your entire life to create your first album and 2 months to create your second. So you got to make sure that first album is great. So don't spit out singles.
Yeah.
Put the best of the best out first, and then you're going to grab people, and then they'll come back for the singles after that. But don't start that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like when we started the band, because we started the band in 2019 before the pandemic, but then like our plan was like, okay, let's put out like a 4 or 5 song EP just to put stuff out there. But like we really were planning to do like the full length right away, like maybe not right away. We wanted it to be done well, but it was supposed to be out way sooner than it was. Obviously,
Yeah, the world crashed and burned. Yeah,
so
we were all
during
there.
that time, I mean, it took like so much longer to get everything together, but part of me feels like maybe it was like a little bit of a blessing in disguise anyways, because we got so much more time to make sure that like we made like something important, I guess, or like at least important to us, and like something that like, just like, I don't know, we were really proud of it. Like I remember being like, whoa, like all the other bands that I was in like years ago and whatever, like punk bands and shit like that, like none of them like compare to this. Like this is like really what I feel like, I don't know, I was like meant to do, or at least one of the things, like who knows what's going to happen in the future, but like
it just it felt right. It was a perfect fitting shoe, like, and I get that. I mean, and all the other bands. So here's a question: what was the name of the very first band you were ever in?
So the very first band that I was ever in was when I was in high school, and we played one show, and I did not like the name of the band.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So it was called One Dirty Gato, which is like, I mean, it's like Spanish for one dirty cat. And I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to like insinuate anything or be like, cause like,
I get it.
I was the
You
only,
don't have to say it, but I get it.
the only, like everybody else in the band was guys and stuff like that. And like, yeah, but I didn't come up with the name. They already had the name before the band, before I was in the band, or at least I think so. I don't know. But we played one show, and it was like at this choir concert that I had, where I asked my teacher if I could play with my band instead of like singing a song like by myself or whatever. Cause it was like everybody got a chance to do like a solo song. And then, that was it. And the only proof or like evidence of that band existing it's like on MySpace. And that is like long gone. So
it still exists. Still exists. Owned
I
by Google. Well, it's owned by Justin Timberlake through Google, so it still exists.
I don't think you can access the video that was taken that was on there, because like I don't know, the file or whatever format it was in, like I remember trying to find it like even a few years ago, just being like, wow, like I should like save this and like have
Archives,
it,
yeah,
right, you know, just to see where like I came, you know, my roots and whatever with music and whatnot. But no, like there are a few pictures from that day, but the video is like long gone. So
Well, coming from that point, I mean, and you talked earlier about 12 a.m. being like a song you wanted to redo, but this usually sometimes, I don't know if it'll be the same as 12 a.m., but this sometimes becomes a hard question for people. But like, if you could only play one song from Arms Like Roses for somebody that says like, hey, I'm in a band, this is what we do, here's one song, it's your first impression, like what song of yours are you playing for them?
it would probably be Portrait of a Happy Family.
Mother, I think I'm okay. Father, do you still remember me? Mother, I know you love me. Father, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. It's either that or I made you a mixtape because I hate your fucking guts. But like, I think Portrait because anytime, like even from the first time that we play that song live, or just even the first time we practiced that song, we were like, it's like a ride. Like you're on like a journey with us. Like it's not even like us being pretentious or anything. We just had a lot of fun with that song, but like there is so much going on, and I feel like there's so many like ups and downs and like soft parts, and then like at the end it's like this crazy like loud like thing and I'm screaming and stuff like that. But also I feel like that song is like really it so I wrote that song about my family and like how I feel like over time, especially, we've kind of been like disconnected. And like I've had I don't know, like me and my mom kind of don't always see eye to eye with things, but I wanted it to be like a song where I just talk about how, yeah, like, I don't know, like if I could speak to my mom and like tell her like how I'm feeling about like the fact that things in our home were not always like so great. And I just wish that like we could understand each other better. And then the fact that like, I mean, this song was also written before my dad passed, but at this time, I feel like partially because of the pandemic and just because I feel like I moved from Massachusetts to Connecticut. And so like my family, a lot of them are in Massachusetts and stuff. And so I was like a little further away and I didn't really like talk to my parents or especially like my dad who I like used to like, I don't know, I would see him all the time and I don't know, he would call randomly, we'd talk or whatever, but I felt like things had been very disconnected for like a little while and it made me sad, but I also just wanted to be like really real about, how I felt about that. And also, I don't know. I just feel like that song is just like all over the place. And it's like just like a whirlwind of emotions and just like sounds and all sorts of stuff. Like, yeah.
Would you say that's your favorite song you guys have recorded so far? Or do you have a song that you would, put out on a different pedestal and say, this is my favorite song we've recorded?
I know that that's like our favorite song collectively as a band. I think that for me, I'd probably say, because like for a long time it was Flowers that was my favorite song. I think now Untitled Love Song is probably my favorite. But yeah. I don't know, but Portrait definitely is like one of my top songs. It's just a very like intense song. So that's like, I guess if someone doesn't want to necessarily go into listening to a band, hearing like one of the most intense songs, then I would not play that one first.
I get it.
But I think it just like showcases like what we can do.
No, that's all, and that's what I look for. Like, that's awesome. Like, it's that reaction of, hey, you got one chance to impress me, play a song, and that's what I usually look for. And it's sometimes I how I said earlier, flowers for like, it's just one of those things where it's like I would play a couple different songs, and it's like, hey, here's this, but they also do this, so what the fuck? Like, it's that roller coaster that you talked about earlier of just like, you don't know where things are going to end up and go. And I think that's one of the best parts about especially being in a band and creating music, is like not knowing the end game and how things are going to end up when you're done. But now your album's done and it's out there, and you're just like, well, here you go. And just hoping people are going to wait in line and get on that ride and fucking feel the same things you felt when you were creating it. So
yeah, no, exactly. Like, there was so much going on even when we recorded that, or when we just had like come up with ideas for any of those songs, and they just like flowed together so easily. And like, I don't know, we just were so excited to put that out there. And like, it has been a little while since we've been able to put out a full length. Like, we are really working on that right now.
Yeah, but you put out the EP last year, so I mean, you're still putting out music, which is usually the most important thing that I tell people. Like, just it's one of those things of like staying consistent. Like, you got your album out, let's put out some more music. But that like, it differs from putting out a single every month. But it's like, hey, here's our album, but now here's something a little. It's that teaser, right? It's like the teaser trailer before the actual trailer comes out, before the actual movie comes out. It's like, here's something to get you, keep you engaged for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And we're doing like another split. Well, it's just like one song, but we were asked by some of our friends to do a song that it's going to come out in June, I believe, June or July. But yeah, so like, I'm excited for that one too. That I really like that new song as well. But I'm not going to really talk too much about it.
You don't have to talk too much. The fact that we know something's coming is always great, and the fact that you started off by saying you were working on new music too, which is, those are always the things that keep me engaged. Like, it's those things too where like I try to tell people, like, even if you are working on something and you have nothing to share, just let them know that you are working on something, so you can like get people excited and keep them engaged, and gives me something to look forward to. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep up on this because I can't wait to hear of something I already love. What's the new thing going to be like?
Yeah. Like, I feel like also it's just funny because we were trying to work on a full length a while back, and then we got asked to play to record that EP with our friends in the band Sinking. And we were just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. And we recorded our side of the EP pretty quickly, I'd say. And then we were just like waiting and waiting and waiting for it to be put out. We were like, when is this coming out? We recorded this like a year ago.
All right. So from the stuff that you like, how about, is there a band or an artist that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to that we'd be really surprised that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to? Some people call it a guilty pleasure. I mean, there's no guilty pleasures later on in life, but something that you're really worried people would find out that you get tons of enjoyment from listening to.
Oh, man. Oh, that's difficult. I need to think about that one. Because I feel like a band that's like a guilty pleasure that I wouldn't want people to know that I like. Oh my God, that's so Wow. I know that probably something is going to pop up in my head later, but right at this moment,
Like, what do you jam to in your car on the way to work that if somebody looked at you, what your window down would be like, I cannot believe she's listening to that.
I mean, I know recently I was listening to like Lady Gaga, but like oh, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just listen to like like the occasional pop like album or something. Like I don't know. There's one day I was listening to this Y2K playlist that just kind of brought me back to like I don't know, like Mean Girls and like all that stuff, and I was just like, this is kind of embarrassing that I'm listening to this right now, but I don't know why. I just feel nostalgic for like Michelle Branch or like something
Okay.
like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the stuff that was popular way back when, and it just, yeah, everybody's saying it at the top of their lungs. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's, well, I've said it plenty of times here. One of mine is Jamiroquai, but I'm not going to also lie that when Limp Bizkit comes
cool.
on, I'm not singing the Limp Bizkit songs. I wouldn't go turn it on, but if it comes on, I'm like, oh God, this is fucking good.
Oh my God. Our drummer Tom, he loves Limp Bizkit, so that's really funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right. So how about, so world's going to end in 5 minutes. Meteor's going to crash in the earth, and you can only listen to one song. What song are you listening to?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So just 1 second.
You're searching for it? What's the first thing that's popping into your head that you would listen to?
I don't know. Do you know the band Mono? They're like a post-rock band.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Like they're crazy and they like make, I don't know, like their shows are insane. But I feel like the song, when I first heard the song Ashes in the Snow, oh my God, that song is so intense. I mean, it's a really long song, so if you're not really that kind of person that's into like I don't know, 7-minute song or whatever, then I wouldn't recommend it. But I don't know, it's so beautiful and like it makes me cry like almost every single time. And when I saw them back in, I want to say 2014 maybe or something, like, ugh, that song was just insane. And it doesn't even have lyrics because they are just like a post-rock band without lyrics.
Like,
but yeah,
it's like listening to seeing explosions in the sky and just sitting there crying, or like Sigur Rós, or like you're just like, oh geez, what is happening to my body right now? Why do I feel this way?
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're let's say every living thing got out of your house, there's a house fire, and every living thing's out safely, and you get to run in and grab one musical thing that means the most to you, memorabilia, something. What's that thing that you're grabbing?
I mean, it might be like one of my, because going back to how I talked about No Doubt and everything, it's probably just this shirt that my friend gave me that was like, I don't know, I don't remember where she found it, but she gave it to me for my birthday. This was like one of my best friends. And it was just like, just Tragic Kingdom, just the cover, but I'd probably grab that because I don't know. It means a lot because like my best friend gave it to me, and I don't know. That was just like a band that kind of, one of the bands that inspired me to do music and be like, fuck everything. Like guys aren't the only ones that can do music. Like anyone can do music. But,
no, that's awesome. You have something, and that's always what I like. There are certain musical things that mean more to me than others, but it's always been like, I asked that question because I have so much stuff, but at the same time, it's like I had to sit back and think, like, if something were to happen, what am I grabbing? And it's like, and I finally came down to it and I was like, yeah, no, that's probably it, because there'll never be another one of those, and I'll never be. So I was just like, yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing that's going to mean the most to me. So
like, there are so many things that I have too. And I'm just like, oh, like what, but I don't know. I'm super sentimental about stuff. So like, if it's like, I don't know, if someone gave me something, or, you know, if there's just like a memory attached to it that like means a lot to me.
Yeah, I'm very sentimental too. Yeah, I'm very at that. It's like, oh my God, I remember when you gave me this pen, and I'm never going to.
Yeah.
It's like, now I have way too much stuff. And it's like, okay, well, what really means the most to me? So,
yeah, that's exactly how I am.
But so we're going to come into the end of the show right now. We're going to go into our weekly 3 segment. But you know, before we get there, first thing I want to say is, Estelle, thank you so much for being here and spending time with us. But above all else, thank you so much for creating the music that brought us together today. I think it's taken for granted a lot, but what you do to create music and put your heart and soul out there for people to judge, it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of people, and I think so many people take it for granted, and I don't. And it means the world to me, and it's the reason why I asked you to be here. It's the reason why I wanted to interview you, because what you do means the world to me, and I know it does to other people that don't have the opportunity to say that to you all the time. So, you know, it's a big heartfelt thank you for creating the music that brought 2 people together from different walks of life to just have an awesome conversation for the day. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. And I really, like, I know I've said it a bunch of times probably, but I really appreciate you saying that, like, that it really like means that much to you. 'Cause I don't know, that's all I could ever want. Like, I don't give a shit about, you know, money or anything like that. Like, I just want something to like, you know, and I don't know, inspire someone, or just like make them like, I don't know, just some, I just want to make stuff that like connects to people, like, even if we don't have the same experiences, or maybe we do, but you know, if you get something out of it, like, that just means the world to me, if anyone does. So
yeah. Well, I did, and that's why you're here. So I like, and I really think, and I've said it many times on the show, but, and anyone who's out there listening, like I've always said, there's a difference between saying to someone, if you get to go see them live, hey, great show tonight. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference from saying that than saying just thank you for that. Like, that is the more important thing, because I know you want to say it and you don't know how to say it, but I'm telling you, like, thank you for that means a lot more than, hey, great show tonight. You know, because like anybody's can say that. Yeah. So like, just if it really meant that much to you, just say thank you. And that's why I make a point out of every show that I go to. If it really moved me, I seek out the artists and go, man, that was awesome. And I just want to say thank you for that, because you probably got me through the next fucking 10 days because of what you just did. So thank you. Aww. See you later. And then I leave. So, but we are in our final segment of the show. It is our weekly 3 segment. So Estelle, please pull up your playlists or whatever you've been listening to. You need to give me 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out. You give your 3, then I give my 3.
Okay. So I've been listening to this band called Single Mothers, their EP from 2012 that's self-titled. That was something that I like, I don't know, like, even I started listening to not even that long ago, but I was just like, wow, damn, this is like really inspiring to me right in this moment. Nothing's Downward Years to Come. I always like, that's like a constant in my life. I feel like that album is amazing. And something out of left field is so Kylie Minogue's new record, Attention To. It's like, I don't know. I listened to it and I was like, whoa, this makes me want to go back to like the 2000s, or like, no, not even like 90s, like techno, like dance music or whatever. Like that's another probably like guilty pleasure type thing that I listen to. It's like totally different, but it's a lot of fun. And
All right. No, I love it. That almost could have fell under your guilty pleasure thing too. Like it's never would have expected that, but that's awesome.
yeah.
All right, awesome 3. So my 3 for this week. First one is a band called Pen Name.
Okay.
They have a self-titled album out. They're from the UK. It's very much, I mean, I hate labeling or trying to say, but let's do that. If you like this, you'll like this. I would say Pen Name sounds like a Joie de Vie or Crash of Rhinos or CSTVT, that kind of thing. So if you like them, you'll like that. Next is another band from the UK. Apparently, I've been spending a lot of time across the pond. But the name of the band is I Feel Fine. The name of the album is The Cold in Every Shelter. And they are, if you like Appleseed Cast or Prawn or something like that.
Oh, Prawn. Yeah.
So you'll like them. And then you had an out of left field, and my third is kind of out of left field for me. It is it's an artist by the name of JJ Shiplet, and it's kind of country-ish, like, and I'm not going that pop country kind of Brian thing. Like he has this amazing voice that makes you, like, as soon as he starts singing, you're engaged. And I feel bad because he's trying to make it Nashville, and you're just not going to get through that pop country when you're doing actual honest country music. But it's just, he's a great artist, and I can't even pick an album for you to listen to because like everything that I hear, as soon as his voice kicks in, I'm in. Like I'm all in, and it's something that you normally wouldn't find me fucking jamming to, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is so good that I can't deny it. It's one of those things where it's so good you can't just deny it. But anything by JJ Shiplet, go out, check it out, and I guarantee you'll just be like, oh my God, wow, I didn't know I liked this style of music, but it's so good.
I love that. I don't know. I'm always like that. I'll just be like, oh, I just heard this song that I would never picture myself being into, but like I'm really into this. Like, and then I just get into like I don't know, go into like little phases for like a few weeks or something. I'll be listening to the same thing for a little while. Yeah.
Just how music catches you. And that's my thing. Like, and you know, if it piques my interest, I always say if it piques my interest, someone else has to be interested. So I try to share it. So that's why we have our 3s for the week.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Estelle, thank you so much again for being here. This has been an absolute pleasure. It's been a great end to my day here. And, you know, I look forward. I can't wait to hear new music coming from you guys. And I wish you all nothing but the best. I think you guys are good at what you do. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And I can't wait to one day meet you in person at a show and just be able to be like, say thank you face to face for what it is you've done for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And everybody out there in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Arms Like Roses, and have a great fucking time.
From life. it lasted. We make mixtapes to remember that we're treading so much water. We make mixtapes to forget that we're not better, we're just bitter. We make mixtapes, try and listen to the words without emotion, because I tried, but I don't think I can anymore. We make mixtapes to remember that we're treading so much water. We make mixtapes to forget that we're not better, we're just bitter. We make mixtapes, try and listen to the words without crying, because I tried so damn hard, but I'm not the same person I was way back then. Look at close to my heart, if you can take me back to better years. Let the films on one integral by my feet. I'd rather watch your youthful smile age through an old photograph than bear the weight resentment has to hold on this cold and crippled chest. Just take a picture, it'll last you so much longer than all the feeling I have left. If it's so fun to play pretend when I just don't love myself, why does it hurt just to love you back? So I guess this is goodbye.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions to myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.